Okay, welcome to a winter weather version of section 5.2 notes, the integral of or involving natural log functions. So because we learned last class or last week at this point in 5.1 that the natural log derivative is 1 over x, or if it is ln of u, we referred to it as u prime over u, we then know as a rule of thumb after that the integral of 1 over x is going to be the ln of x. Now, when you integrate, you also need to include the absolute value of what was on the bottom. And this is because if it was negative and you did u prime over u, the negative would have just canceled out anyway. So in other words, if you had taken the derivative of ln of x, it would give you 1 over x. If you took the derivative of ln of negative x, it would still give you 1 over x. So because of that, we need to include an absolute value. Now, to give you the chain rule version of that, the integral of u prime over u is going to be the ln of the absolute value of u plus c. Excuse me, that did not show up right. So what we're going to start doing is looking for that u prime over u. So an example of kind of the ways we can look for u prime over u. If we were given the integral of x over x squared plus 1 dx, I'm starting to look for the whole idea of u prime over u. And if this is my u prime would be 2x. Now, I don't have a 2x up here, but what we can sometimes do is manipulate it to be a 2x. In other words, if I do something to the inside of the integral, I can do the opposite to the outside. So something I can do to this to manipulate it. Let's just say I multiplied it by 2 up there to make it be exactly what I want, u prime over u. I can balance that by multiplying by a 1/2 out front, because that 1/2 and that 2 would really cancel each other out. So it's really like you're not doing anything at all. So once I do that, now I can truly see my u prime over my u, and I can integrate this. So the integral of u prime over u is going to be the ln of u, or x squared plus 1. But then I include the 1/2 that was out front of the integral, and of course, always include my plus c. Couple other rules of thumb is if you don't know and you can't see the u prime over u, is that you can always let u equal the denominator. So this is just normal u substitution that we've done before. So if you need to use normal u substitution, a new way of doing that is now to think, okay, now I can let u be the denominator, and maybe it'll work out to one of those ln x ones. So a great example of that is the integral of x squared plus 1 over x cubed plus 3x dx. Now, kind of referring back to what we just did, if I wanted to see, like, if this is my u, if I manipulate, could I get u prime over u? I would think to myself, well, u prime would be 2x plus 0. Or excuse me, that's the derivative of the top. 3x squared plus 3. And I could manipulate this one then. If I can really see that multiplying by a 3 on top would get me my u prime over u, I could manipulate this. But just to kind of show you, if we did decide to just make u equal the bottom and do a normal u substitution. So we would say u equals x cubed plus 3x. My normal process is du dx is equal to 3x squared plus 3. Then I would solve for my dx. And my dx would be du over 3x squared plus 3. So then I go back in and I change up my equation here. And I say, okay, now I am integrating x squared plus 1 over u times my dx is du over 3x squared plus 3. And I can see that I'm going to be able to cancel my x squared plus 1 if I factor something out there. So if I take that now, I can manipulate it and take out that 3. So I have x squared plus 1 over u times du over 3 factored out gives me x squared plus 1, which I can then cancel. So then really, I'm going to take this 3, which is like a 1/3 here, and I'm going to pull it out to the front, which is what you would have seen if we manipulated it anyway. So now I've got 1 over u du with a 1/3 out front. So just like we talked about, the integral of 1 over u is now the ln of the absolute value of u. We keep that 1/3 out, plus c. And then, as always with u's, we substitute back in what our u was, which is 1/3 ln of, our u was x cubed, excuse me, going back over here, x cubed plus 3x. So the answer, plus c. All right, now, just a reminder of a couple of our integrations using basic trig functions, because you will see these too. The integral of sine x, if you remember this from last semester, is negative cosine x plus c. The integral of cosine x is sine x plus c. Now, we have never had an integral up to this point of tangent, and it's because none of our trig derivatives gave us tangent as a derivative, so we couldn't just strictly go backwards and integrate. Well, now with ln's and all of that, now we truly do have a way to do that, because another way of thinking of tangent is sine x over cosine x dx. Now this specifically, if you look at it, if I say cosine is my u, this is like a u prime over u situation, only the sign should be negative, right? So that means when I integrate, my answer will be negative. So the integral of tangent in u prime over u form is the negative ln of the absolute value of cosine of x plus c. Because cosine x has a reciprocal, you could also say that it is the positive ln of secant x plus c, which is much less common, okay? In the same way, you can now integrate cotangent, because cotangent could be seen as cosine over sine. And this is directly a u prime over u. Oops, not plus c, dx. When sine is your u, cosine is the u prime. So if I integrate that, that will give me directly the ln of sine x, absolute value, plus c. Now, these last two are super, super, super not common, so don't feel like you have to focus your efforts on memorizing these. We will see some with tangent, and we will see some with cotangent. It will be much less common to see the integral of secant or the integral of cosecant, but just to write them down in case you ever do see them, secant integrates to the ln of absolute value of secant x plus tangent x, and cosecant, plus c there, cosecant integrates to give me the negative ln of the absolute value of cosecant x plus cotangent x plus c. Okay? All right, so another u integration technique that we're going to talk about real quick here is to let your u equal the ln of x. So if, for example, we were integrating, let's say I gave you 1 over x ln x dx. Now, you don't necessarily see the u prime over u here because it looks like there's just a 1 on top. And when we kind of pull this apart, you're going to see where that u prime over u is. But one technique for u substitution now in this chapter is going to be letting your u equal the ln of x. So let's just say we tried that. We say u equals ln of x. We would go through our normal u substitution, du dx is equal to 1 over x. I would then solve for my dx, multiply the x to the left, du times x equals dx. All right, so then I go back in and I substitute. So when I go back to my integral, I'm going to substitute 1 over, I keep my x, ln of x is my u, and in place of my dx, I put in du times x. Well, remember that the derivative of ln x is 1 over x. So that's where you're going to see that u prime, but it just doesn't look like it's on top because it's a fraction. And so by using u as your ln, The x that comes out of that u substitution here cancels with the x here. Now we are just integrating 1 over u du. Well, the integral of this, as we spoke about, is ln of the absolute value of u plus c. And this is where you see kind of the chain rule thing that you may have seen in your first homework when we did derivative of ln. Our u was ln of x. And so that is what we're plugging back in. So we now have as our answer the ln of x plus c. All right, so on the back page here, we're going to have a good u substitution summary page. This one is just one that you're going to want to make sure you get in your head because it's great places to talk about where you should be able to integrate or use u substitution to help you integrate. And this is kind of summarizing what we talked about with u substitution before Christmas as well as now. Be my final. So on to that. A couple rules of thumb for you. 1, we can always try to turn products or quotients into the sum of individual terms. Okay, so that might mean foiling out something. It might mean dividing everything by whatever is on the bottom to help us integrate first. Okay, for trig functions, we should always check for exact trig derivatives first. If you see those, use them. Or another way we talked about that was pretty easy if you remember them is to use identities, trig identities, to simplify and manipulate something into trig derivatives. Now, if we can't integrate doing normal integration rules by either foiling out or dividing out or switching stuff up using our trig identities, then that's when we talk about making a u substitution. So u substitutions, remember one of them that we talked about that was kind of chain rule style was saying u equals whatever is in the parentheses. That was kind of our first one we talked about. Within that same lesson, we talked about with trig functions, you could either make u equal the ugly angle. That was just our shorthand way of saying if you're doing the sine of 3x or sine of 1/3 theta, you can make your u equal that 3x or the 1/3 theta. Although we've talked about the shortcut way to that too, now where you take the reciprocal out front. You can also make u equal one specific trig function that you are unable to integrate on its own. Now, we have other methods that we've talked about from today. One is that u can equal the denominator. If you look for u being the denominator, sometimes you really don't even have to do a full u substitution. If you can look for u prime over u, you might be able to manipulate the way we did on that first example to try to make it work without doing a full u substitution. We've also talked about making u equal the ln of x, the way we just did on this last example. And now one we haven't seen yet, but we will see in this unit, is making u equal the exponent. And that is specifically in an exponential function. Okay, and this is something that you're going to explore more through your homework. The notes for this is not super long, but I would make sure you refer back to this page as you try to integrate stuff with LNs and all of that on your homework for 5.2.